first today, before we get to those videos that I'm going to show, I will take a couple questions from this, but I'll be straight up with you. I've only had a couple kids come ask for help, and you've had these worksheets for a while now. So you have time to come get help on these. I know they're not in MAP, but some of you are falling into that bad habit of using MAP as your plan book. So you're going to have to tell me what the setup line of the worksheet that you're looking at is if you want help on one of these problems. And remember, on this one, you only had to do the left column or the right column, and then you wanted to get with somebody who did the other column to figure out the multiple words. Yeah, we were using 3.14 for pi. So if you used exact pi, like your pi button on your calculator, you would need to round a little bit. So who has a couple questions that you want us to go over? Yeah, Farah? From which? This one that we're looking at? Sweet. So on our what can we use to tie up a spaceship, we're looking at 9A. So if you are left column and haven't done 9A, now if you did right column, 9B will solve exactly the same. Okay, if you don't have graph paper, you're probably going to want some. I think I'm going to use some computer paper just because I have it to use up. Because I have my copy paper things. Alright, so what I would highlight first for the important information is our circular track is 440 yards long. Which, if that's how long a circle is, what do we call that in a circle? How long around it is? The circumference. So it is 440 yards around, and we can label that the circumference. C equals 440. Questions on how I know that since the circular track is that long, that that is the circumference? Yeah.
I turned my paper in.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm not as sure as you are. Can you check your binder for me?
Yeah.
Because it may have... I mean, and I will continue to check my stuff, but... oh, unless I shoved it in my binder, took it home this weekend, and then didn't look at it because I was very busy. Yep, Mia, I got, here's your Sharks one. Anyone else turn it in and want it back?
Thank you.
I got a no name up here with some Post-its on it, so if you turned in one of these with some Post-its on it, you might want to come check it. Is it yours? Because that's the remote control, TV set, whatever. All right, so we know the circumference. They want the area. To figure out the area, we're going to use the formula pi. Don't all answer at the same time. Pi times the radius squared. So guys, if you don't have this sort of work written down and you don't have this problem done yet, I should see you writing. So we need to figure out the radius. Now another formula that we know is that the circumference crust is, what's that little saying that crust is? Crust is pi. Crust is pi dough. Guys, I can tell that we have not practiced this enough because you are not helping me, like you're not answering. So you need to do this practice is what that tells me. You need to practice more with circles. So we're not going to spend all of class doing that, but I'll probably plan some more circle stuff for later this week. So what we're going to do here, since they told us the circumference, is set pi times d equal to 440. So I could kind of cover up the c equals if that confuses you. What do we know pi is? 3.14. So this is really saying 3.14 times the diameter equals 440. So how could I get the diameter by itself? Divide. So I can do 440.
You get 140 and then a really bad.
So 140.13 if we just want to hang on to the hundredths place right now. But how do we go from diameter to radius? Divide by 2. So guys, what we're seeing here, and if you don't have anything to draw circles in your notes, you might want to find something. I used to keep a quarter like on me most days to be able to draw circles and copy it. Yeah, the diameter is the all the way across. The radius is the halfway across. So that's going to be like 70-ish. I don't know, like 70.05 if I really round it. It's probably more like 0.07, 0.06, 0.07-ish. Or I could just hit divide by 2 in my calculator. Oh, there we go. 0.06. So now, that number, 70.06. Guys, this is where you're going to accidentally goof up, so please watch. When we go to square on our calculator, there's the little button that can square it, x to the little 2. Or we can just multiply it by itself. So you could hit times 70.06 and just do the squaring manually. Or you can use the button. You'll get the same answer either way. But that's just radius squared. What do I do now? I still need times pi, because area is pi times radius squared. Yeah, 15,412. Yeah, because we actually kept too many decimals along the way, which I did on purpose. We were more accurate than they were. So if I round my answer to 15,412.4, and then I come look at their answers, crap, wrong worksheet. 15,400. But notice that the problem had said round answer to the nearest 100 yards. Yeah, they told us how to round. Because we're going to be approximate. They're planting with sod. So they'll probably buy a little extra then, honestly. I would round up if I was doing a project like this, so you have some extra. So this problem 9A, we'll get, what do we do here? Cross out or cross out? So now we cross this out. And I would, if I was you down here, like right, like 9A or something. That's the problem that got me to cross that out. Other problems, I won't do 9B because 9B is the same. But if you need to just do 9A instead, like guys, as long as you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 problems done, I don't really care if you went back and forth. But we need, like, 1, find the circumference, find the area of this circle. 3 and 4, find the circumference, find the area. And if your answers don't exist down here, you probably made a mistake. So go back and resolve it. It is okay. Wrong answers get us to the right answers. Other questions? So, when we jump into the DESMOS activity, you are allowed to work on these worksheets and ask me for help if you just want individual help, if you're like too nervous to ask in front of the class. But our DESMOS activity that we did not get a chance to do earlier, did I assign it? I did assign it. So your DESMOS activity you're looking for is called Mystery Flag. It's 8.2.1. But before we dive into that, I'm worried some of you might have already started it, so I'm going to go pause it. Yeah, you can turn in worksheets if you got them. I'm probably going to have to pause my video for a second because I don't want to infringe on copyright. I struggle these days to know what kids know and what kids don't know because a lot of you have really varied knowledge. Reddit is like a website that is completely open. It's not controlled by anyone. So you can find some bad things on there, right? Because it's not controlled by anyone. You can also find some really cool stuff on there. So I subscribe to certain pages and avoid other pages. But one Reddit page that happened to kind of like bring people together, it was very much a community building, involved placing little tiny squares inside of a giant map. Like a giant grid space. Like think of graph paper. Just a really, really, really big piece. And you get one square. So if you wanted to try to design a picture in there, what would you need to do? If everybody just gets one square each. You need to band together with some of your friends, right? So if you and your friends were like, hey, let's make a picture of a phoenix here, you would need to like team up and collaborate. So this happened for like days and days and days. People were allowed to place one tile like every 5 or 10 minutes, something like that. And you can see some people got together and tried to make the American flag. OSU people banded together and did something. Mr. Kabila said he was part of a group that was trying to like, I forget what he said, there's Star Wars right here. So somebody decided to use Blender, right? Like we use out in the library for digital art. Somebody decided to use Blender and model this as they went. And then this is kind of going to relate to our DESMOS activity. All right, so we know from having done DESMOS before, if we don't read, it's going to be very difficult. So make sure that you read what is happening before you click like, okay, go. And I'm going to turn off the pacing so you guys can go ahead and move on now. So I know when I did slide 2 earlier, the first example it gave me was useless. It was unhelpful. By the way, everyone's eyes right here. There is no Aladdin practice today. We just received text that Shelby wanted us all to announce there's no Aladdin practice, which means do not come down to the family room, eat lunch like normal, or go outside.
It's nice out. It's going to be like the nicest day this week. Well, actually, I lied. It's supposed to rain.
Later, I think. I think lunch will still be okay.
Yeah.
Tonight, you are allowed to move on from slides 1 and 2. By the way, if you're sitting there waiting, I turned off the pacing. Something's happening next door.
We're watching a movie. What are they doing? It's a mathematical movie, so it's not.
We're doing mathematical activities. Yes. I'm not like asking you to do much. We just didn't get a chance to do this activity when I taught you guys about statistics and populations.
This is totally useless.
Well, then click show me another one. Yeah. Click show me another one then. Yeah, this afternoon, Mr. Hall doesn't have class. You guys are the main overlapping class.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to let me in like a student. So guys, right here, so I think some of us are a little stuck. Right here, it is showing me a sample of what the flag looks like. But if every flag has this on it, that doesn't really help me. So I need to click again for get new look. And then it shows me something different. Can I then figure out which flag it is? If not, get another look. If not, get another look. You want to try to do it in the least amount of looks that you can. So we're missing Layla as well. No Layla here today. Davis. Okay. Now I lost you guys. Oh, wrong class. And what that means is you will probably get to watch that movie next year, because I think it's one that Mr. Hall says he likes showing.
We watch it, yeah. We watched it the last couple of years. It's pretty good.
John, back on slide 7, you are not correct. So you might have moved on too quickly. All right, I'm going to anonymize, and let's look at what some people said for how the view would have been different if it was smaller. So remember, you're all anonymized here. So we have, it would have made it harder and would have had us make more guesses. That's a really good, concise, like you kind of said everything in one statement. I would need more guesses. I wouldn't know which one to pick because they're all blue. Yeah, they all do have they all have those like kind of green or teal or whatever you want to call it color, and they all have some blue dots too. I would have to put in more looks. It would be more difficult to figure out. This is statistics. This is the flag is your population. The little box we're showing you is what, when we look at a little piece of a population, what do we call that? Yeah, it's like when I go to Costco and I get all the free samples. It's a sample. It's a little snippet. It's a little taste of what the whole group is. So the whole flag's here. I'm going to unpause you. But the whole flag is your population here. The little snippets that we show you are samples. The bigger the sample, the better it is. The smaller the sample, the tougher it is. It looks like, Jesus, it looks like you might want to go back to, oh, you're kind of bouncing around. Slide 4 looks like you need to go back and look at that again. But yeah, I don't think you finished slide 3 yet, so. Franco, you need to go back and finish slide 3. Antonella, I think you moved on from slide 3 without finishing it. Same with Amanda. Isabella. Slide 3, I don't think you actually, gave me a response or anything, maybe. I think you clicked next without telling me anything. Which now we kind of talked about it together already. So guys, we are out of time. I know, sadly, right? Time flies when we're having fun. This activity, I will leave open, and you can, if you're mastered and you want to play with it at AO or extensions, not tomorrow because there's no math tomorrow. Wednesday, we'll go get some tacos from the taco truck at the beach.
What?
Yeah, we're not really gonna get tacos. I'm sorry. But we are gonna do a DESMOS activity with the taco truck.
Antonella was like,
I know.
her eyes were beaming.
All about it. Now, Antonella, if you get a taco truck here, that would be awesome. I would love to get some tacos. I just can't buy for everyone.
No, oh, me neither.